Good morning. My name is Maria DiMaggio. I'm with the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, and today we are Shuttle Press and Bindery for our Business Over Breakfast.
Get out of bed, the business is calling, the coffee is ready. Wake up with the best, so wake up with the best. Business over breakfast with the Ocean Community. Business over breakfast with the Ocean Community.
So we are here today with Dana Campbell of Shuttle Press and Bindery, and we are in your fabulous shop here at the Velvet Mill in Stonington Borough. So tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, so Shuttle Press and Bindery is a letterpress and bookbinding studio. I do a variety of different things here. First and foremost, bookbinding. So everything from blank journals and sketchbooks, guest books, really you name it, different albums, as well as book repair. And then I also have antique printing presses that I do stationery and some home goods and things like business cards, wedding invitations, announcements, you name it. So
she's the full gamut here. And you brought up your printing presses, which are amazing. As you can see, we'll take a little tour in a little bit, but you can see behind us you have so many different styles, sizes.
Yep.
How did you decide to get into this wonderful world of
so it's
printing?
kind of a funny story. I sort of mistakenly found my way into this. Ever since I was a small child, you know, I was artistic and I knew that I wanted to do something creative. So when it came time for me to choose a college, I went to art school. I studied graphic design and illustration, and it was just kind of this natural place for me. But I kind of had this sort of crisis, right? And the crisis was everything that I was doing was on the computer.
Yeah.
And for me, that just wasn't the way that I wanted to kind of have my career. It wasn't what I pictured. I wanted to work with my hands.
You didn't want to be stuck behind the desk, right?
Exactly. So fortunately, my school had a bookbinding department and a letterpress printmaking department. Took classes on a whim, absolutely fell in love with the process.
That's amazing.
And then later found out that my great-grandfather was a letterpress printmaker, and his printing press, which is here next to me,
so cute,
was in my grandmother's basement waiting for me the whole time. So,
I mean, and you had no idea.
Serendipity was meant to be.
Isn't that great how that happens? It just kind of falls into place. It's like you were meant to do this, but you had no idea.
Yeah, that was like my sign from the universe. If I discover something 4 generations apart from where it originated in my family, like that's the sign that I'm on the right path.
Absolutely. So this is the one that, this is the actual printing press that your grandfather used?
Yep. Yeah, this was my great-grandfather.
Or your great-grandfather, excuse me.
Yep, this was his hobby press. It's kind of fun because my grandmother has really fond memories of being young and hearing him just like printing away in the basement and doing different things. But yeah, this press I named Imogene after my great-grandmother because every press needs a name. And she was the press that I used for the first 8 years of the business. I printed my own wedding invitations on this press. I really have a lot of history on it. I've since upgraded to larger floor model presses to kind of keep up with the pace of the business.
With this girl who is called Marie.
Yeah, this is a paper cutter. This is a guillotine style
this is a paper cutter. Okay. Hello.
This has been a game changer for the studio, just kind of upping my efficiency and my ability to produce more things.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm sure the being here and the type of work you produce, you're going to scale up, and you need machinery to kind of keep up with that.
Absolutely.
Now, your great-grandfather, was he a printer by trade, or was this because you mentioned the word hobby, or was it a hobby?
It was more of a hobby for him. It was kind of just one of the things that he did on the side to, you know, have fun and kind of blow off some steam. But he would work with my great-grandmother, who actually did tatting, which is making lace by hand. And so beautiful. She would make these little tiny like flowers, and then he would print stationery. They'd make little cards. And
my goodness.
They were so creative.
I love that.
And so in love with each other. So it was really a wonderful thing to discover.
It's nice when the arts can kind of flow through a family like that. And
absolutely.
Be passed down generationally without even knowing it.
I know, exactly.
It's amazing. Yep. So now you mentioned that obviously Imogene has a name. We saw Marie has a name.
Yep.
Is it something like a tradition to name printing presses, like boats, or is it just you're doing it for fun?
I think it's a little bit of both. So like where I went to school, all of the presses had names.
Oh, did
there.
they?
I don't remember what they are anymore. But you know, for me, it's very similar to the tradition of naming boats. It's like, you know, this is something that you develop a relationship with,
Right.
and you know, every day is a little bit different. Every day that you print, the humidity is different, the temperature is different. So you kind of have like these personalities that come out in these pieces of equipment.
Absolutely.
So for me, it just not only does it speak to kind of the individuality of these machines, but also just kind of the endearing history and building an attachment and fostering that with the community as well.
So cool. And you have about 8?
I have quite
10?
a few.
More?
I have quite a few. I have quite the collection. They're kind of like potato chips. Once you get one, you can't have, you know, just one.
Of course.
But yeah, I have a couple different ones. Some of them are still in like the refurb sort of stage of things. Other ones have been not total reconstructions, but certainly, you know, having to bring them up to speed.
And you're the one who's actually physically fixing them?
I mean, with help. Like I can't claim to have done it all by myself. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, these machines, there's nobody out there. Like I can't just call somebody if something happens.
There's
like,
no printing press repair guy.
They don't exist
It's you
anymore. It's me. So a lot of it is just kind of like going online and reading about other people's experiences and doing the research and seeing if I can find, you know, hopefully somewhere has scanned in the original manual from like the early 1900s.
And have you found stuff like that?
In some cases I have, which has been great.
Print,
like,
print, save.
Yes. Yep.
You're like, I can print my own book.
Yep, exactly.
It's good that you have that skill.
Yeah.
Now that we know a little bit about the printing presses and that you have so many and they're really awesome, what are the type of things that you can make on these printing, or that you make here in your studio?
Yeah, so it's a combination of things, like I mentioned before. First and foremost, on the bookbinding side of things, I think I mentioned I make, you know, journals, sketchbooks, things of that nature. I do a lot of different styles. These ones are all basically historic bindings that have a modern twist. So you know,
cool.
as an example, yeah, of course, the underlying structure itself is like an antique structure, but then I'm using beads and different colors and making sort of more modern.
And then if you look, like
the
paper is also like just looks like it's rough cut.
I have
beautiful.
a variety of papers. I use my what I consider my house stock is like a medium weight acid-free sketchbook paper. I work with a lot of artists and a lot of writers. Everybody seems really happy with that paper. Then I have things like this that are a little bit heavier, which is more for like oil pastels. I do some with watercolor paper, just that's like specifically for artists. So I have a different variety.
Now, but before we continue, are you making the paper as well?
So I do make paper, but at this juncture, I can't keep up with making enough paper to kind of supplement it. But that's
another skill set that you have. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I do periodically offer like custom-made paper packs and things like that for people who are kind of crafty.
I love it.
But yeah,
knows how to do it all.
The leather wrap is one of my more popular styles. I also do a lot of hardcovers. These ones, for example, utilize vintage illustrations. These are wonderful because they open completely flat, which writers and artists alike absolutely love. And again, all of these are historic binding methods. They're all hand sewn with a needle and thread. There's no machine involved in the making.
So you're hand sewing these?
Yes. Everything is very, very traditionally made. I will also say, if you have an interest in bookbinding, I also teach workshops. So very beginner friendly.
That was my next question. You're reading my mind, Dana. I love it.
Absolutely. Very beginner friendly, starting from I've literally never picked up a needle and thread before, all the way up through, you know, people who have taken every class, kind of offering more intermediate and advanced stuff as well. So
very cool.
It's fun.
How often do you offer those classes?
So I try to offer, right now I have kind of like a rotation of 4 different levels.
Okay.
If possible, I try to offer each class at least once a month. Okay. That does vary depending on what's going on. I do travel a lot for shows and events around New England, so just kind of keep up with my social media.
I love that. So if someone is interested in taking a class or seeing what classes you're offering, head to your socials, which do you want to tell the folks what they are real quick?
So I'm at Shuttle Bindery everywhere. Shuttle like the bus. That's the best way that I can express it to people.
Absolutely.
And my tickets for my workshops are sold through Eventbrite. So if you look on Eventbrite and you just search bookbinding, I should come up. There's unfortunately not a lot of people doing this, so I kind of am the only one that will show up. We're
going to talk about that next. But and when you do a class, is it here in the shop or?
Most often, yes. So typically we'll set up, after hours here in the studio. That way you can, see the equipment. You have a lot of context for the history. Sometimes I do also travel. So, if you have a group of 5 or more people and you're doing like a bridal shower or a birthday or, something that you want to celebrate as a group and do
You'll
like
go to
a
them,
book club,
potentially.
I can go to them too.
Fabulous.
So just reach out to me on the side for that.
Yeah, she'll work with you on that. But that's great.
Yep.
That's great that you can offer that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Besides the journals and the books and all this fun stuff, you also offer, it looks like leather products, but cards.
So I have stuff that's made on the printing presses as an example. I have, paper coasters. These are all
cute.
original designs. I don't use any premium
Your designs?
These are my designs. So I do coasters. I have a wide variety of designs for those. I also do greeting cards. I have a lot of different ones. This has been one of my most popular. Sorry for ugly crying at your wedding. And again, these are all original designs.
I love that.
So I have a wide variety of things. I'm a big snail mail person. I still send a lot of cards. So for me, just having a variety of different types is always
And again, these are
goal.
all your just...
Yes. Yep. And
Awesome.
all printed on the antique presses. So everything, again, is very, very traditionally produced.
So the antique press is just to give a little lesson at home. So since this is 2-color, I'm assuming because we have a lot of print print members that do shirts and stuff. So when we've seen that happen, they do one color, stamp it, another color. So it's the same process.
It's the same exact process.
So which would you do first, the green or the purple?
So it depends. Letterpress ink is always going to be a little bit see-through. I tend to try and work from lighter to darker just because that kind of helps my brain, but everybody's going to do it a little different. There's a lot of
no exact science to it.
Some people will say there is. It depends on how traditional you are with things. Even like the other hallmark of letterpress that a lot of people know of is that it actually makes a physical impression in the paper. But a lot of the old timers are like, it shouldn't bite into the paper like that.
I
so
see.
it just there's different schools of thought on these things. But
and it's your
for
preference,
me,
right?
It's dictated by the design.
I love that.
So
I love that. Awesome.
Yep.
Dana, another service that you provide, which for the folks at home may not be aware of, is that you service books and refurbish books. What kind and how would someone get them to you?
So this book is actually in progress right now. This is a Bible. I repair a lot of Bibles. I would say probably about 90% of the books that I repair are Bibles.
Great.
Everything from small everyday use Bibles all the way up to the giant leather family Bibles that people keep their genealogy in. So books in any condition. I've never met a book I haven't been able to help. Not yet. I mean, I'm up for the challenge, so bring me your worst. I do offer comprehensive repair services. Everything from, replacing and putting on new covers to resewing. I really just kind of take a look, diagnose, and see what's best for you. The beautiful thing about this is if you have a book at home that's hurt, you can just snap a few photos, different angles of the damage, and send it to my email, which is shuttlepressbindery@gmail.com. And I can give you a free estimate that way.
Okay, that's great. And this is just to show that this book is currently in process and being repaired. So this is, you would put it in this type of press, and then it looks like you're gluing on some binding.
I'm adding new material and doing different things. And every book is a different adventure. Every one of them kind of has a different ailment that has to be addressed. But
the book doctor.
Yeah, the book doctor. I like to say the book mechanic.
Okay, all right.
But it's an incredibly rewarding process. And some of the books that people have brought in have just been absolutely incredible. And to be a part of the history and to keep that book alive and usable is such a privilege.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And I mean, I'm sure the types of books you've seen over the years have been, why, the lay person isn't going to see this type of book.
Right.
What's the oldest book you think you've worked on?
1611.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a book of sermons from 1611, and it came from England originally. It was letterpress printed. It was amazing. You could see, there was like ink marks and fingerprints of people from years gone by. It was really an incredible
history of it.
So it's, like I said, it's mostly Bibles. The other most popular type is cookbooks. And then like a lot of like the Night Before Christmas, for example, is a very popular one that I've repaired a number of times for families.
Oh, wow. Yep. I mean, that is a pretty traditional book for around the holidays, so that's great. And so you can do pretty much any size book too, right?
Yeah.
So I know you have this here, and we have a couple other books that you've refurbished.
These are a couple that are actually ready to go back to their original owners.
Yay.
This one, I can show you guys a little bit closer. When this came in, the spine was completely gone. It had completely deteriorated.
Yeah.
So, and the corners as well.
So the covers, though, are still original?
Yep, the covers are original. My goal is always to retain as much of the original material as possible.
Unless they ask you to do it?
Yes,
Okay.
unless you want like a total flavor change for your book. I do try to retain everything. So in this case, what I did was, basically research into what did this spine originally look like, and then I try to recreate it as accurately as possible.
So are you doing all this intricate detailing yourself?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. This is called tooling.
Okay.
I have some specialty tools. This is all done by hand. This one, I do not have a title on there, although at some point I might end up adding a title depending on whether the client wants to do that.
When you say a title, you mean along this?
Yeah. So I have the tools and ability to use 23 karat gold inlay in order to put the titling on books as well. So.
Now, what kind of book is this?
So this book is a modern machine shop practice book. This belonged to the client's grandfather, so he had memories of that, kind of being a part of his childhood, and I love that.
And this one?
This one is an architectural review.
Oh, it has.
This one still has the original spine. This one had completely broken and cracked along here.
Yep.
If you follow my social media, I actually try to post before and afters of all of these so that you're able to see the transformation.
Very cool. For folks who might be interested in having their book bound or, hiring you for your services, what does that process look like?
Yep. So like I said, you can send photos of your book to my email to get a free estimate. There's never an obligation. I understand it is a significant investment. But if you decide you do want to move forward with it, I'll have you just bring your book in during normal hours, or you can schedule an appointment. We usually kind of go over the condition of the book together. I'll give you sort of a general, idea of what the process is going to look like.
Yep.
I do collect a deposit at drop off. It's only $100 to get started. And again, I'll work within that estimate range that I've given you. If anything's going to change, I'll let you know. And then you get into my queue. As it stands, the queue kind of shifts depending on what time of year it is. As it stands right now, it's an approximately 6-month turnaround from the time that you drop off. So
that doesn't seem too bad. Especially when you said you have about 40 books in the queue, which you're restoring historic books. It's going to take some time.
It's a labor-intensive process,
and you want to make sure that it's done properly. And if I was the book owner, I would want to know that you're taking time and care to do, which I know you are.
Exactly.
For not just my book, but like others' books. So I can understand if there's a little bit of time.
And a lot of it is, I have to order the right materials. I always use archival materials. I'm never going to introduce anything to your book that is going to be a detriment to it over time.
Right.
And so it's, it's ordering materials, it's working on it, it's doing these different things. I will also say, because a lot of people like myself are book collectors, if you have 3 or more books, you do get a discount on the repair services. You save 20%.
At a time? 3 or more at a time?
Correct.
Fabulous. And is this the queue right here?
This is part of the queue. I have like a wide variety of books. Some of these are personal projects, some of them are client projects, but I try to just make sure everything is nice and organized and protected here. So as I can work on things, I do.
That's awesome. So as a woman in this field, this printing field, how have you adapted and learned, and seeing that this is a primarily male-dominated field, where do you stand in it?
So, I'm incredibly proud to be a woman business owner, first and foremost, but also to exist in this male-dominated space. Historically, printing, especially letterpress, was always catered to men and boys. I actually have a small printing press here that was specifically marketed to young boys because it was a promising career for them. But for me to be a woman in this space, it just feels incredible to kind of not necessarily like take it back, but just to kind of create a new path and kind of forge new history. There has been this sort of like beautiful sharing of the space now, where a lot of women are stepping up and they're getting into the wedding invitations, or they're getting into the printmaking space. And for me, it's just been such an honor. And I actually, so this
wonderful magazine.
I have so much sunlight in my studio. This is a little faded, but this is Where Women Create magazine. I was the cover feature for the summer 2024 issue. And within this magazine, they feature, the beautiful studio spaces of creative women, just like myself.
It's so cool.
And it was such an honor because this is a global publication.
Wow.
And so I was able to,
it's
write
amazing
about.
that they found you too.
Yeah, I was able to write about my studio and about my process and what it means to be a woman in this space.
So how many women letterpress printers would you say in this style? Because there's a lot of women who do graphic design.
Sure.
But in this particular style, are you one of 100 or hundreds or thousands?
Certainly I would say hundreds. I don't know what the actual sort of number is off the top of my head, but
just
because
you go to shows and whatnot, right? So I'm sure you interact with peers.
Yeah, I would say that New England in particular has a pretty rich printmaking history. I mean, a number of my presses were manufactured right here in New England, so there is kind of a prevalence in this area, community. But again, for the most part, there's just not a lot of people doing this anymore. So when I get the chance to rub elbows with another letterpress person, especially someone who's a woman, it really is just
awesome.
It's the best.
I'm sure you're like, I see you. I see you, girl. I love that. Yeah. I love it. So as we're walking around the store, Dana, I noticed this awesome sign you have up here. It says, "Life is short, use the good paper."
Yep.
You mentioned earlier that this is like your motto.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Life is short. Use the good paper. This actually originated from a customer of mine. I get to travel a lot and I get to meet a lot of different people and sort of interact with them as they're choosing their journal or sketchbook. And I had this little old lady come up to my booth one day, and she was kind of very quietly picking up each book and leafing through, and you could tell she was really just kind of like struggling with it, right? And so I kind of engaged her in conversation, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stick with it. Whatever it is." About journaling and just kind of making the investment in herself. And so we had to talk about what it means to have a journal in a space where you can kind of like keep your thoughts and work through things.
Yeah.
And so she ended up.
But I love that you're also providing that feedback.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Not only does she print books, folks, she's also your personal therapist here. I love it.
I make no claims.
I'll make that claim.
But yeah, so she ended up walking away from the booth, and then about, I don't know, probably an hour later, she came back.
Cute.
And she said, "You know what, I've been thinking about it," and she's like, "You know what, life is short, use the good paper," and she ended up buying a journal. And I saw her a number of months later, and she said that it's been the most wonderful experience for her to just have a space to kind of vent what she's feeling and kind of write about her thoughts. And so for me, that just kind of became my mantra of, I have this wonderful privilege of being able to make these beautiful things that then help people through difficult things or through happy things or whatever it is. And for me, life is short, use the good paper was just like the perfect way to express that.
That's great. So. That's great, because I have a lot of things like stickers or beautiful books or whatnot, and you're afraid to use it because you're like, you're saving it for that special. Don't save it.
Don't save it. Just
come
make a
get
mark
it
on
and
the
use
first
it.
page. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just have to do it.
And if you don't use it now, then you'll never use it.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. Did I tell you the story about
yet.
this piece? So this paper cutter was actually donated to the studio under the condition that I move it from its existing home to here.
If you want it,
you got to move it.
Okay.
Thought to myself, okay, great. We can move it. I've moved the printing presses. These are not easy to move, but it is something that is manageable.
And I'm sure you could get like your husband or some people to come help you.
Exactly. Yeah. Collectively, this machine is about 1,300 pounds, so it is a big deal.
It is big.
But yeah, so I thought to myself, great, that's an opportunity that I can take advantage of.
Yeah.
So anyway, this had originally been in a residential home in Groton that used to be a printing shop. They did letterpress, invitations, things of that nature. Most home letterpress studios are typically in basements.
Oh no.
This was located on the 3rd floor in an attic space.
No.
So the logistics,
and I'm sure the stairwell was
very narrow, little
goodness.
Twisty stairways. So the logistics of getting this out and down were a little bit scary at times.
Are there any parts you can take apart?
That's what we did.
Okay.
We took it apart, every last nut, bolt, piece.
All these comes apart?
All of these,
my
everything came fully apart, which It was actually kind of a blessing because it gave me the opportunity to A, get to know the machine better, and B, really clean it and make sure that it was going to be in ship shape when we got her here.
I love that.
But that said, this center table piece is still about 250 pounds. So
how many people did it take for you guys?
We had,
it's moving up like a full-grown man.
We had like 3 people working on like piecemeal taking it down.
Oh my goodness.
Needless to say, my husband loves me very, very much. I'm very lucky.
I love that.
Yeah.
200 for just this part.
Just this center table piece. Yeah.
Wow. And now she has this awesome display piece, but also you use it.
This is functional, absolutely.
Functional and display.
Yep.
And you have a little ad here that I was like, oh, is this original or did you print this? And Dana printed it, but she goes, I think it's funny because I didn't even know. I thought they were just standing in front of this machine. No, they're standing on
the lever.
And is that that's so that they could cut it?
So, I mean, it's not necessarily so they could cut it, but more just to show that this piece of machinery is high quality and that it really can be put through the paces. 3 men can stand on this and nothing is going to break.
I got it. I thought it was like the paper's so strong. You need three little men here to just cut, while Dana can just crank it down. But
absolutely.
That is so cool. I love that. I love old ads like that.
Yeah, well,
too.
I mean, for me, like I said, the history is so important to me. I'm not here doing this just because I love it. It's also because it's keeping history alive and it's keeping it, relevant and in the space and giving context for everything. And that portion of it is so important. It really is.
It's great when you can do something that you love, keeps history alive, and makes you money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the trifecta.
Dana, thank you so much for having us today for Business Over Breakfast. If you want to come visit Dana at her shop at the Velvet Mill Studios in Stonington Borough, we are located at 22 Bayview Ave. And the unit here specifically?
This is studio number 77.
Number 77, right next to Merrill and Massa and across from White Crest Eatery. So be sure to come down and check out Shuttle Press and Bindery. Do you want to give them your social media handles, all that jazz?
I'm at Shuttle Press Bindery everywhere. I am open here at the mill Thursday through Sunday. Hours are Thursday and Friday 12 to 5, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday from 11 to 5. I do encourage people to follow the social media, however, because as I mentioned before, I do travel frequently for shows and events throughout New England, so I'd hate for you to show up and find the doors locked during normal hours.
As you know, a business owner, and it's you and your husband primarily here, so it's best to check it out.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Come down to the Velvet Mill and check out Shuttle Press and Bindery.